Hey guys, this is Van Russell here. I had just finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I am ready to give you guys a minimum spoiler review on the game. First, let's go with what my scaling is all about. RPG review scales. What is the most important thing for an RPG? RPG is a story. For Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the story, just like the original game, the story is stellar. The story is solid. And the story is classic. So what keeps it from a 30? Or from a 30 out of 30? So what keeps it from a perfect score? The introduction of convoluted multiverse timelines. Shit gets muddled, shit will get complicated. With differing point of views, differing things that happen with very little explanation on it. Leaving you with just as many questions as you got answers. What's next? Graphics and art style. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a culmination of a promise with the new graphics technology that keeps coming out. That an old story for people of my generation, the ones who played the original, there was a promise made that they would remake it. And they did with the latest in Unreal Engine technology. The game runs either at 30 FPS or 60 FPS at 4K or 4K-ish. Very little slowdowns on my end from what I've seen, and other than a bit of smoothness and one's sharp and stuttery with a 30 FPS. And the other one is a softer but solid 60 FPS. Graphics are top notch. They went through the polish on it, and they're still doing more work to it. They just added a new patch expanding upon it. Gameplay, 15 out of 20. It's a solid RPG with many different options on how to play or what to do. You got difficulty settings, you got a dynamic difficulty setting, you got a hard mode, which basically makes your Buster Sword seem like a pea shooter. Combat can be extremely broken at sometimes and extremely unforgiving at others, forcing you to think on your feet, which is a good thing. Also, the amount of side quests, the amount of mini games upon mini games in this game is unbelievable. I would say practically on the same level as Yakuza when it comes to side content and minigames. Music and sounds. Square Enix continues the tradition for Final Fantasy with new and redone versions of every classic Final Fantasy song. Each of them still hit hard. Each of them still are just as good as the originals, with improvements. Here's a category which I call X Factor and Innovations. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a sequel on top of a remake. So when it comes to innovations, I look at what did it improve upon on the previous sequel and what it did on the original. Improvements are night and day. Tutorials are right there for you for anything new. It feels like you can pick up right where you left off on Final Fantasy VII Remake, with a little bit of changes in the skill system. Weapons are all new. You don't have to. You're not recycling the same weapons from the remake, even though I wish I could import what I had in the remake, as well as the materia. And another point of the X Factor is how it improved upon the story on the original. Without giving into spoilers, the original when you left the first disc out of the 3 discs on the original, you were left with a lot of questions and very no answers. This leaves you with a little bit more answers and a better feeling in your chest with the events that unfold at the very end. So, look, this brings it to the final score. 90 out of 100, aka 9 out of 10, aka 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a solid game. It took me 98 hours to finish a playthrough. As I said, mini games upon mini games. You have Chocobo Racing, you have Fort Condor, you have some weird another tower defense game, tower attacker game, where you get to fight clans from 3 different bases. Combat can be unforgiving, but if you figure out the best combinations of materia, skills, you could be a badass. The story, very complicated, but innovative compared to the original. This game is freaking awesome. And to finish this out, I am going to basically hit you with 2 clips from my time with the game. One being one from the Chocobo minigame, and the other one with minor spoilers of a clip of my stream where I couldn't handle it. I had to go and hug my kids. So without further ado, let's start with the first one here. You got, when it comes to those mini games, you got Queen's Blood. You got Chocobo Racing. You got oh so much more. The Golden Saucer is there for your enjoyment. You got combat simulators to help improve your materia options.
Someone looks kind of shaky. Can you take over for me?
And on top of it all, in the middle of all that, you got hard-hitting stories like this one.
I really tried.
I'll be right back. He even hits me now after seeing the clip of it. Buy this game. Solid game. It's got my seal of approval, which doesn't mean much right now these days. But 9 out of 10. That's all I can say, guys. Thank you for watching this real quick. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And this is Van Russell signing off.